So for today, I'm going to be talking about a highly requested video, a question that I've been getting for so long, probably like 3 years now, and that is how I go to college and work 2 jobs and just like how I do it. Like I said, this video has been highly requested, and so I figured I would just sit down and talk to you guys and tell you guys everything that I know about working 2 jobs and being a full-time college student. If you're new here, once again, my name is Samantha. I am a senior at Sam Houston State University. I have been in college for 3 years, but I've taken credits during the summertime, so it pushed me up to my senior year. So I'm technically still a junior, but I'm a senior and I'm going to be graduating in December. Let's just go ahead and get right on into this video on how it is possible to work 2 jobs and be in college. Firstly, I want to say that if you're looking into working 2 jobs and being a full-time college student, it does take a lot of time management for sure. You need to do a lot of time management between like your first job and your second job in schoolwork. It is very hard. It's not easy, but it definitely is doable, and it just requires a lot of effort, which was going to be my second point, is that it requires a lot of effort. If this is something that you want to do or something that you feel like you were compelled to do because you have no other option, just know that it is doable and it is possible, and you can still be successful in school while working 2 jobs. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of time management from your first job, your second job, schoolwork, homework, studying, just things like that. So I will be showing you guys my planner and like the planners that I've used before, and show you guys kind of like the outline of like everything that I do and how I personally organize to stay consistent with both jobs and be able to be successful in school. So one thing to remember while doing 2 jobs and being a college student is that your school comes first. So always make sure your school is a priority, because although you do want to make money and be successful and, you know, pay for your bills and things like that and have extra money for yourself, it's really important to remember like your reason as to why you're in school. So you're in college to be successful for later in the future. And if you're just focused on just like working a lot and you're kind of putting school to the side and not really caring about school, you're kind of defeating the purpose of being in college, because you're not taking that time and dedication into school like you should be. And so that is really going to affect your grades. It happened to me at some point where my grades were being affected because I was wanting to just work so much and focus on that instead of school, which I would not recommend to anyone. I would always put school as like a priority regardless of whatever else you're in, because just because you're working another job or even doing 2 jobs, like that is the same amount as if you were in other organizations, because other organizations require you to be there for a certain amount of time throughout the week and stuff. So basically that is like working a job or having something else on the side. So just remember that school should always be a priority regardless of what else you're doing. Because like I said, you're in college to be successful for your future, and if you are just focusing on the money-making aspect and just wanting to make sure everything's getting paid for and you're not really focusing on your studies, you're defeating the purpose of being in college, which you are there for your future, and you want to make the best grades that you can in college, because they don't really tell you this very often, but if you have like a low GPA, or if you're not doing well in school, or you're getting C's and just things like that, your professors will notice that, and when it comes time for you to have to request recommendation letters or just things like that, it's hard for them to have like a ground rule with you and like understand who you are as a person, because let's say you were skipping class because you were too tired to go the next day, or you just weren't really trying in your classes. They're gonna kind of look at you and not really know who you are. Make sure you are going based off that and have like a really good relationship with your professors, because they're really going to be the ones who are doing those recommendation letters, or they're going to be the ones who are going to decide whether they're going to curve your grade from a B to an A or not. Always make sure that is a priority. So what I like to do is I like to set aside time throughout the week. So like I know when I'm going to be studying, or I know when I'm going to be doing my homework, or when my exams are due, and I put all of that into my planner. I put all of my work shifts, and I use a lot of color coding because for me, I'm a very like visual person, so I like to see everything laid out on my planner and like organized in different colors, so I know which job is which shift is for what, and then I color code my schooling so that I know what is due when. I will put my exams in here, my quizzes, assignments. I like to section off study time in there too, or like I'll do my shift 1 and then shift 2 in there, and kind of just go based off that, because it's important to see what you're doing and see what you're going into, because if you don't have that, it's going to be really hard and everything's just going to be all over the place. And honestly, I've met people who work a job in college or do like 2 jobs in college, and if you don't have a planner and you can't see exactly what you're doing, it's just so chaotic. And I really don't know how people can memorize all of everything that they have to do, because basically in most jobs, you know, your schedule 2 weeks in advance, so you have time to request off. If let's say you have like a doctor's appointment or you have a major exam that you need to study for, like you're able to request that time off. But if you are not able to see where your school overlaps with your work, or like your first job overlaps with your second job, I don't know how people do that. But for me, I like to be a visual person, so I like to see everything on paper, and then when I see it, I kind of go based off of that and like figure out how I need to plan out for everything. What I like to do in the beginning of the semester is when I get all of my syllabi from all of my professors, I will take my exams, my quizzes, my assignments, and all of that, and I will put it in my planner just to know when important things are due. And then when I get my work schedule from my first job, I will put that in the planner, or when I get my work schedule from my other job, I will also put that in the planner, and just go based off that. I like to take it week by week, because honestly, if I just look at an overlay of the whole month, it's just kind of crazy. So I take it week by week, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like so you guys can see what I'm talking about, which I will show you my month of January spread, because this month has been pretty busy for me so far. And there's just a lot of, you know, doing my other job and then this job, and then school's coming up, and then I don't have any assignment dates set, so I haven't put those in. But this is kind of what it looks like, and the pink would be something like my classes, purple would be anything related to RA stuff would be the purple, and then the blue, and then the green is when my classes begin, and orange would be more of like RA mandatory things. So like we have, you know, a floor meeting that you can see is in orange, and then this one's pretty important too. I also have like outside activities that I want to do throughout the month on here too, just to know to schedule my life around things that I want to do, because it's important to take time to yourself too, because if you're just focused on school and work and just that, you're gonna go crazy. But it's also important to incorporate things that you like to do for yourself that are good for you. So like for me, one thing that was really important to me for the month of January was going to a baseball game that I have on the 25th. So I made sure to request off from my Target job. I already submitted that, and they did give me off, so I'm super thankful for that. So it's a lot of time management. So like for me, I made sure I did it 2 weeks in advance, the request off, because that's normally what jobs will do, is a 2 weeks in advance. I submitted my request to have those days off 2 weeks in advance, and then I scheduled my other job around that. So I made sure I wasn't working on the 25th or the 26th or even the 27th, just like from both jobs, just because I wanted to make sure that time was being put in for things that I want to do to keep myself, you know, having a life and not just being stuck in, you know, your city doing school and work. So it's important to take time for the things that you like to do, because sooner or later the month is gonna get very hectic, so I'm really not gonna have time to do all of the things that I love to do. So when I do have time for that, I make sure to schedule it around that so that I can still enjoy the things that I like to do. Those are all of the tips that I have if you are interested in working while you are in college, or if you're interested in working 2 jobs mainly and being in college. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And also, if you're new here, do not forget to subscribe. You can click the link down below in the description box. And yeah, if you guys have any further questions, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll be sure to do a part 2 for this video if you guys are interested in that. Also, I'll leave my social media linked right here, so you guys can go ahead and follow me on social media, and go ahead and shoot me a DM if you do have any other questions. I do get DMs a lot on how I work 2 jobs and I'm in school, so I figured it would just be easier to do this video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.